introduction? You want to come introduce? Come here. No? Okay. No stitchy introduction today. Hello, my ugly ones. Welcome into the community sacred space. This is Witchy Wednesdays. Right, so we got some questions because of just the way this is filmed. It might be another week of asking my family and friends questions about witchcraft and then making a video for the advice part or answering questions part until I can get some comments built up. It just wasn't realistic for me to expect to have questions in this very first video because I just posted it today, so it's kind of hard to have comments right away on that very first video. So I've got some family questions, or questions that my family asked about witchcraft, and I'll answer today. And today I just wanted it to kind of be an introductory video on what is witchcraft, because started to realize that there was a good amount of people in my family who believed witchcraft was Hogwarts, and I was like, oh, but I can't blame them because before I did any research into witchcraft, I thought magic was magic, and people who believed in magic were crazy because obviously magic, I'm dyslexic, hold up. M-A-G-I-C, it's not real. So, what is witchcraft? Witchcraft is a practice. It's not technically a religion. Yes, there is Wicca, which is the religion based on the background in witchcraft. But witchcraft itself isn't technically a religion. So if we look all the way back before even Christianity, there was witches, and witches were believed to be like healers, the medical people. If you got sick, you went to a witch because they were able to give you a remedy for it. So a lot of stuff like green tea, chamomile tea, honey, stuff that soothes, that you think about and you're like, that's not witchcraft, that's everyday things. It came from witches who learned herbs and then, I don't know, tried it and was like, wow, that's good for soothing a sore throat, or this herb, the way it smells makes me feel happier. So they were like the doctors of the time before science really came about. Witchcraft, when you start thinking of magic with a K at the end, is the law of attraction. So I talked about this in the last video when it came to my number one rule with this. What you put out is what you get back. You've learned this since you were a little kid. Treat others how you want to be treated. It goes deeper than that because in witchcraft there's the threefold rule. So like I said, if you're putting out positive energy, if you walk down the street and you're like, wow, that person's hair looks amazing today, I should tell them that it looks amazing today, and you tell them that, you're putting good energy out in the world. And then it's kind of that pay it forward aspect that you aren't even realizing and that person's not even realizing, because you walked down the street, you said, wow, your hair looks amazing today, I love it. And they're like, wow, that makes me feel really good, because who knows, maybe they put in a bunch of effort, maybe they didn't, and they're like, wow, I look good and I didn't even try. that makes somebody feel really good. And so maybe not, depending on the person, but maybe later that day they're like, wow, I feel great. And they start seeing things and they're like, oh wow, that person's hair looks good. So they actually genuinely compliment somebody else's hair or shoes or whatever. It's not that kind of exchange where you're like, oh wow, your hair looks good today, and then you're like, oh thanks, yours does too, because you don't know how to take a compliment, and so you're just handing out empty compliments. This is actually creating a positive effect. And so the idea is that you're putting it out there and it's going to come back to you at some way, because if you're putting the energy out there of positivity and more people are getting affected by this positivity, it's going to come back and create a better world. That's where this magic comes in. Question that my mom asked is to why does witchcraft appeal to me? So like I said in my last video, I do have a very scientific base, and I realized that I can't just wish and wish and wish and wish and wish that something will happen. There is this effort that has to go into it, kind of like Tiana. You can't just wish, you got to make it happen. It all depends on you. So witchcraft kind of is that, like, for me, it's that checking in with myself and refocusing myself. When I go do a spell for success, I'm thinking about all of the herbs and the crystals and their different meanings and this energy that I'm putting into it, that then when I look at it, I remember the feelings of passion and desire of wanting to be successful, so that way I now have motivation of, yes, these are my goals. When I see this jar, I remember, yes, these are my goals. This is what I want to do. And so then I go and work, and I work to be more successful, because I can't just make this jar and then sit around and be like, yep, it's going to happen, because it doesn't work like that. You also have to put in the effort. So, like when I made those potions last week, I put in 7 cloves, and I set intentions when I stirred it of wanting to stir counterclockwise to get rid of anything negative, and clockwise to bring in happiness and peace. So legitimately, when I sat there and I was drinking each one of them, I remembered that part. And it might have not been me like sitting there deeply reflecting on that, but every time I grabbed the jar, I remembered setting those intentions while making it. And so I was like, it's kind of like coming back to me when I do it. That's what appeals to me in witchcraft. There is this other part in witchcraft which is more like magic, and that's when it comes to manifestation. So probably, if you've heard of manifestation and gone through the rabbit hole, you've probably heard of journaling and different techniques that come with manifestation. Basically, the idea of manifestation, kind of with the law of attraction, is if you think about it long enough, kind of like if you wish about it enough, if you believe that it's going to come back to you, that it's going to be yours, it will be. So when you manifest, when you journal, you normally want to set it in present tense, which is hard because being like, wow, this is amazing, I have all this stuff, is kind of hard sometimes, especially for people who don't have the greatest imagination. To be like, wow, I can imagine what that thinks. But if you let yourself imagine what it would feel like if you had your ideal life. If you had everything you wanted, what would it feel like? And you're writing about what it would be like from when you open your eyes in the morning. What do you see? Where are you? What do you feel? How is your bed like? Do you have animals? Literally every very specific detail from the time you open your eyes to the end of the day, what happened. And then, best part is to put it away and let it go. You don't want to dwell on it too much. And then you go and work on that. What are these steps to get to that goal? Because all those feelings that you had writing this thing, because it should be enjoyable. It should be like, wow, that was the best day I've ever had. I want to have that day and make it come true. It's kind of like that Disney magic, that feeling of when you're like sitting there. If you don't understand this, I don't really know what to compare it to. Maybe like your favorite sports team winning or something. But you're sitting there, you're watching Happily Ever After. That's like the closest thing that I think I can match this feeling to. You're watching Happily Ever After, and the guy's telling you, now reach out and grab your dreams, or something like that. Like, this is the end of our story, but it's just the beginning of yours. And it's just like this super motivational thing that makes you want to go grab your dreams and like make them come true. Like, you just feel this magic of anything that's possible, so you start to believe it. Now this is where energy in the world starts to come out. This is where religion starts to come in. The faith aspect of it and believing in things that are hard to believe in, because there's no real scientific based evidence in it. So witchcraft is all of that practice. It's kind of like spicy psychology, if you will. There's nothing scary about witchcraft when you have it like that. There's nothing bad about me putting herbs and rocks and water and stuff in a jar or whatever. I'm not hurting anyone doing that. It's like I said, spicy psychology. It's that thing that you think of and you're like, oh, the emotions start to flood back in. That's witchcraft to me. Then you start to get the religious aspect into it, where you start to have beliefs in things that can't yet be proven by science. I tend to relate Reiki and what is it called? Qui-gonji? Wow, magic! Okay. I tend to relate that energy work into witchcraft because, or at least the religion of witchcraft on my aspect, because it comes into manifestation. What you put out comes back in. It's like, I do believe in chakras, the 7 chakras, and putting out belief into the universe. And once you're on that level of energy in the universe can give you what you want, because it's like, oh, you're there, obviously you need this. So there's that aspect of my belief in witchcraft. And then you start to get into religions and angels and deities and all that type of stuff. Witchcraft, you can work with deities, but you don't have to. Deities are when you start getting into that religion base. And like, different candle shades mean different things. It's just so that way there's an intention and there's a meaning. You don't have to come up with it all by yourself, and it helps that way. Yeah. So there's like the 2 different aspects of witchcraft. And then my mom also asked, can you do witchcraft and other religions, because there seems to be this belief that witchcraft is a religion when really it's not. It's a practice, and you can add it into other religions. Witchcraft really is everywhere. Do you like taking baths? Amazing. That's witchcraft. You can have it in Christianity. You can have it in literally anything. Hinduism. You can have it in Buddhism. You can have it in literally everything. And you can work with it in different ways. You can stick to the Christian just one God and angels. I'm omnious, like I said in my last video, so I believe that all religions they've got some truth to them. They're all trying to teach the same thing, trying to teach the same morals. And I pretty much believe in all of the different deities and gods. That's just me. So when it comes to that, that's why I got into witchcraft and why it appeals to me. Dad asked, how is it different or the same to humanist? I actually had to look up what the heck humanist was. I'd never heard of that before. So humanist is the belief to just treat others with kindness. It said a lot of times humanists tend to be like pro-earth, pro like human rights. They tend to be allies of the LGBTQ community, tend to try and fight racism, tend to be feminists. So when you think about that, witchcraft, a lot of ways, when you start to get into the no, I would say even before you really get into the religious aspect, because you can technically curse someone without really being religious. We'll kind of answer this in the next question too. So I would say witchcraft tends to be more on the humanist side especially when it comes to that main rule, what you put out is what you get back. Most witches would be humanist. I would say yes. Most witches are very, hi baby. Most witches are very, he's trying to wreck the set. He wants to be part of it. I told you to become part of the intro. He wants to be the star. Most witches tend to be pro on growing their own herbs. A lot of times, witchcraft tends to be part of nature. Like, it's the best thing for a witch to be able to go take a walk in the forest, collect things out in the forest, go to the lake, just be in nature. Tends to be the best thing for a witch. So yes, I would say that most witches are, yes, humanists. That they tend to fall along all of the same stuff. Like in every religion, you're gonna have a witch that's not got the best outlook on life, and they're going to just hate everyone, and they're going to want to just curse everyone. That's just how it is. You're gonna have those not so great witches out there. But then again, they put out negative energy. Negative energy is gonna come back 3 times as strong to them. So that gets into my next question. My brother automatically, after I asked this question of what questions do you guys have about witchcraft, he goes, if there's magic, why is there rich and poor people? I was like, because there isn't magic like that. We can't just Yay! So this is where kind of the religious aspect ties into it. It also kind of doesn't, because there's a bit of psychology that plays into this. So if you're sitting there making a curse or a hex for someone specific or for a group of people specific, you're putting out that hateful energy to those people. That's only going to come back to you 3 times as strong. So whether you truly believe in it, or if you're really just like taking your anger out in your practice, it's going to come back. There's really no point in working in baneful magic. There's no point in doing curses. There's no point in hexing. I understand the want to hex. Trust me, when I got into magic, I literally the month after, I was at a really horrible job, like a really bad one. And I won't get into too much detail, but I ended up getting thrown under the bus. And I didn't know why. It came out of the blue. I was very shocked. And I ended up quitting like immediately. I found a different job instantly, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this again. And I learned a lot, and I really wanted to curse that job and the people in it, and it was bad. But instead of cursing, I ended up doing a letting go ritual, or a cutting cord ritual, where basically, honestly, it was the best spell that I think I've done yet. It was very personal. It was very tied to me. It took a lot of coming together, and like days of planning. And even at that, it almost went really bad, because there was fire and grass and an electrical thing, and I almost blew up a park. It was bad. On that aspect of the not planning very well. But I haven't had a problem with the things that I did wrong and the things that other people did wrong to me since that spell. And I've actually had really good jobs since then, and I contribute a lot of that to the spell. When you want to curse someone, try a cord cutting or letting go spell, because that will be a lot better for you than putting negative energy out and then having it come back to you. That's just my advice. Because trust me, I understand that you want to curse someone, and it happens. We do curse someone. Even just like flipping someone off because they did something stupid, it's just a reaction that happens. And if you think about it that way, if you're being like an angel 80% of the time, there's like, it's gonna come back to you, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna dust it off. That 3-fold rule, you're gonna dust it off perfectly fine. So I guess, I mean, if you're okay with having a little bit more negative energy in your life to really curse this person, go for it, I guess. But I would really encourage you to weigh it, because they're only getting 1 curse and you're gonna end up getting 3. That's just my point of view on it. Sister said, how can I get a rich man? And so this is when we're going to go into our witchcraft practice of the day, of the week. So even though this does sound like magic, there is magic with the K when it comes to this. Got that 2-part to it, where you set the intentions. I'm gonna make an attraction jar. You set the intentions with it, and then you gotta go do it. So like just making a jar is not gonna do anything. I would encourage you to think of, and this doesn't just have to be a rich partner, this could be any type of partner that you're looking for. I would make a list of places that you like going to. If you're looking for a rich partner, I would suggest making a list of places that are more costly or high scaled. Maybe it might just be bougie and not costly. Think of what you want in a partner, and then think of places where that partner might go. If you want someone who fishes, go to the lake. If you want a rich man, go to a high-end bar. If you want someone who likes to play mini golf, go to mini golf. Things like that. Like, sit there and think of things that you want in a partner and the places where that partner might go. And I highly suggest the things that you want in a partner should be somewhat compatible in what you are interested in. Like, if you hate mini golf, don't go mini golfing. If you want someone who will go like hang out with you in the club, don't go to a dive bar. So if you really want a rich man or woman, think of things that you like doing that might be on like a higher end scale. So if you like playing mini golf but you want a rich man, go golfing. Wow, I make myself laugh. Anyways, let's get to the practice. Oh, I feel like I need to explain more. So in this practice, we're going to be making a jar. I have like 10 different books that have thousands of love spells in them. I tend to, this is where your Guild d'Amour or Book of Shadows comes in, because I tend to like to make my own spells. It's very rare that I actually do follow what's on the paper. I did have one spell that was really good from a book that I actually loved. Anyways, so this one will probably have a combination of money, abundance, attraction, and love, and romance, kind of all kind of like tied in. And I'm gonna do it here so it's in the community sacred space. I will write down each ingredient and meaning, and then show you how I put it together. And you can be as specific as me, you can be not as specific as me, you could be more specific than me. It's really up to you when it comes to your practice and how much time and energy you want to put into it. Again, if you aren't practicing witchcraft, you could just do this to have a cool jar. Because, you know, they're fun to look at. You can shake them around, see different things in them. Anyways, so let's get to the practice.
Alright, my ugly ones, go ahead and gather up your tools. All of the tools and their meanings will be listed in the comment section right down below, or the description section, I guess I should say. So I have already prepped my jar just for time's sake. I've already written out the sigil. First, you're going to want to cleanse your space by using any sort of sage bundle, herb bundle, Palo Santo. Just make sure that you've gotten it ethnically. I am using sandalwood incense, and I am doing a cleansing circle. First clockwise to bring in good energy, then counterclockwise to bring out negative energy. Then I do clockwise again just to reconfirm that good positive energy. I'm currently trying to distinguish the flame, and then I realized that it's just burning, it's not an actual flame. Going back to do those cleansing circles. And then you're gonna set that aside. I then end up moving the cauldron out of the way because our jar is gonna end up going there. You're gonna want to open the water. This is rain water that has also been blessed by the moon. So to the north, you're going to want a representation of earth. You can use herbs or crystals or both. I like to use crystals. Then to the east, you're going to want your representation of air. I like to use incense because the smoke it travels through the air. I also did a cleanse of selenite because this is the first time actually using this altar for everyone. And then I do another cleanse of Palo Santo because it's also used in this spell as the air element symbol. And then to the south, you'll want a representation of fire. I am using a white or clear candle for this one. If you would like to use colored candles, this is where you would put your colored candles at. Green and pink are what would be used for this spell. And then to the west, you want your water. So yep, do another cleanse of the space with Palo Santo. The sigil that I have is set up with patchouli oil, so a few little droplets on there, like sprinkled on. Didn't want to make it too wet. After you have lit everything's open, you're going to want to call in any deities, archangels, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, anybody that you would like to work with. Ask them to bring in blessings. This is your sigil for this spell. It says, I have a love that brings an abundance of wealth. And then you're going to want to make this sigil. Basically, you cross out all vowels and repeating consonants. Then you go through and make a symbol with that consonants. I will go ahead and pop up a picture of what this one looks like. You can also be creative and make your own. You're going to want to use a pretty thin or lightweight piece of paper. Parchment works well for this because you're going to want to fold it up and be able to fit it in your jar. And I used a pretty tiny jar for this one. So once you get it all folded up and put in, you're then going to want to put the top on and place it in the center to be able to start your incantation, which I won't say right now. You can create your own. You can use mine. I will have a TikTok video pulled up on TikTok where it will just be the incantation, so you can play it and just have it repeating over and over while you create your spell. I'm calling in just high vibrations with my sound bath. You can also pull up a sound bath on YouTube and have that playing in the background to help raise your vibrations. So now would be when you would want to start your incantation. You can also say it while you're melting your wax, if you are using a wax melter and not candles that you will be pouring over. So yeah, just start your incantation. Maybe do a meditation during this time, because it is a pretty lengthy process right now that you're going to want to sit with the jar and just think of the things that you're wanting to get from this spell. The feelings that would come from being with this partner, and just meditate on that for a little bit and say your incantation. Once you have poured either your candle wax or your wax melt over your jar, you're going to want to put that wax melt in a safe space. Then thank and release anyone that you had called in to help with this spell. And then close down your altar. So extinguishing the fire, do not blow it out. Extinguish it with either a candle extinguisher, or I use the Palo Santo to extinguish it out. And then extinguish out the Palo Santo, make sure that that's not burning anymore. The incense, anything, and close up your water, close up your space, and it is all done. Thank you, and I will see you next Wednesday. I call upon the elements and their corresponding archangels. I call upon my real, authentic guardian angels, spirit guides, deities, and ancestors. I call upon you to bestow gifts, guide me, help me in my work today. With the crystals and herbs from the earth, the air from the east, fire from my candles, water from the sky, blessed by the moon, spirit from the passion in my heart, I raise the vibrations in this space to bring energy into the void of the universe to manifest my desires. Bring me love. Bring me passion. Bring me wealth. My heart is open. I am ready to receive what is meant to be mine. And so it is, and so it will be.